In this video, I'm going to demonstrate self-tapping and self-drilling screws in action. In another video, we've explained the difference between these screws, so if you'd like to check that out, the link is in the description. So, let's start with self-tapping screws. So first you have to drill a hole in the metal. Here I have some 3mm thick mild steel plate. I'm using a countersunk, so normally we'd be fixing timber down to the steel, but I'm just demonstrating here. So we're going to drill a hole in the metal with a drill bit. So we've now drilled our hole to the appropriate size. Again, we've chosen a drill bit that will remove the main shank. So this will now just, as you can see, just drives in and out, but that is now fixed in there, and that is how you use a simple self-tapping screw. So we're now going to go through the difference between our various tech screws. One thing to bear in mind is they all tend to have different driver bits. These here are a 5/16 or an 8mm hex. These here are generally either a Torx or, in this case, a PH3, and this little one here, which we've got, a very basic one, again is a PH2. So what I'm going to show is the difference and the effects of different metal. Now this one is a very light duty, so I'm taking this into the 3mm thick plate, and which is about the maximum capacity. If I did it in the 5mm plate, it would just end up burning out. So and as we can see, that drilled through the metal first by itself, and then we'll just reverse it back out, and it then created its own tap. You see the screw is kind of as it was. Now if we try that in the 5mm, we'll see how we get on. Now, I don't know whether the camera picked up on that noise, but the screw has overheated and snapped off due to the fact that the metal is too thick for it. It gets too hot before it's cut through, ruining it. So it is important to ensure that you have the right screw for the right thickness of metal. Next I'm going to show you the difference between a heavy duty and a light duty hex head. Hex heads are traditionally designed for metal to metal connections, so joining two plates together, a metal box section together. So what I'll do is we'll fix down another piece of steel to one of the fixed parts. So we're fixing 3mm steel, so I'm going to use a light duty drill point, which is, as per the manufacturer's box, is designed for anything between sort of kind of 1.5mm and 5mm thick steel. So as we can see, that's fixed the two plates tightly together, and this one was washered, as you can see, and that's kind of a classic metal to metal application, and they're incredibly tight. They then can be reversed back off. And as we can see, the drill point has drilled cleanly through and then tapped a thread behind it. Next I'll show you a heavy duty drill point, and this is for the thicker 5mm steel, and you'll see slightly different. As you can see from the speed that went up and down, it's a much finer thread designed for heavier duty steelwork. and will go through metal between 5 and up to 12 mil. There is even heavier duty ones available, designed specially to do up to 20 mil plus thick steel, generally for specialist applications. So as you can see, drilled in and then tapped using the fine threads. We then have the timber to steel variants, which I'll demonstrate using a piece of ply, attaching it down to these bits of steel here. Right, now I'm going to show a timber to steel self-drilling screw. Now, one of the slightly different things, well, kind of it applies to all drill screws, but it is accentuated the worst on a timber to steel, is the overall length of the screw to the actual capacity of the screw to fix. Here I have a 50 mil long screw, but the actual fixing capacity of the screw is just the threaded section, which is actually 23 mil from top of the screw to the bottom of the thread. So to mock that up here, I have some 18 mil MDF onto a 5 mil steel plate, and we're going to fix it down. So there is fixed a 18 mil piece of MDF down to a 5 mil plate, and that is the maximum capacity of this particular screw. So it is important to specify the thickness of steel and the thickness of material fixing to the screw to get the right length, of fastener. If we look at underneath, you can kind of see how the screw has come through and all the little metal shavings from where it's drilled its way through the 5 mil thick plate. The little wings we showed earlier have both actually snapped off as it came in contact with the steel, the little wings that we showed earlier. So I'll just bring another screw up to show. These little wings have snapped off, which is what's designed to happen. So they clear a bit of a pilot hole through, as you can see. The screw comes in and out relatively easily of the timber, where these little wings have cleared through and then snapped off upon impact with the steel. So that is a timber to steel tech screw.